it is now time for our weekly mailbag segment. We've got Thad Brown out in Orchard Park, ready to answer all of your questions after this unexpected Miami loss. Now the Bills will host Tampa Bay on Sunday. It seems like we've seen two different versions of the Bills this year, and that's going to lead right into this question that we'll start with from ex-user The Real GB11. Thad, which Bills team will show up on Sunday? Also, the Bucs are a pass-heavy team with Baker Mayfield, but since the Bills can't stop the run, does this change?
Teams are who they are. Tampa is a pass-first team with Baker Mayfield. In an ideal world, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka, all these receivers they have. Now, they won't have most of them for this game, but Ibuka will still play, and Baker's still Baker. He's still a gunslinger. He's still a guy that's going to leave it all on the field. The Bucs will want to live and die with that. Just because another team is bad at something doesn't mean you change who you are. Doesn't mean the Bucs might run the ball a little more. I think it's possible. We'll see if Bucky Irving is healthy enough to play. I kind of doubt he will. If he's on the field, maybe they do run it more, but in general, Tampa's going to be who Tampa is. As for which Bills team shows up, that is the gazillion-dollar question. The same team that looked terrible against Miami dominated the Chiefs. So both teams are in there somewhere. Obviously, the easy answer is to say the team that'll show up will be the one that's kind of somewhere in the middle. But I do think the Bills will have a response. I think this team is a professional group that understands who they are, who they're supposed to be, what the expectations are. They will not follow that stinker up with another one.
Now, taking away from this Miami loss, it seems like there were a lot of issues on both sides of the ball, but on defense specifically. And this user on X, Burnsy, wants to know, is Terrell Bernard hurt/diminished, or have teams just adjusted to what a smallish linebacker like him can and cannot do?
Another very good question. I think the second part about teams adjusting, I think that's partially true, but it's not a Bernard-specific thing. This is across the league. A lot of teams are going smaller, faster linebackers. So I think teams are now more adept at how to exploit them. That's why you've seen kind of a reversal of how offense works in the NFL. 5 years ago, everybody was throwing the ball. You had to throw it all the time. Last year and a half or so, there's been more of a reliance and more use of the run game because more teams have smaller, faster linebackers that you can run on. So it's not just a Bernard thing. I think it's league-wide. As for Bernard himself, he might be diminished, but not in the way that he's gotten worse. I think in general, fans, even some media, maybe lifted him up, elevated him to a level he wasn't really at during his first season. He made a couple of real big splash plays early. People thought he was great. I don't think that's really who he was. So he's not diminished. I think we have a better understanding of who he is. As for the injury part, something that I've been thinking about, it's not out of the realm because forget about who Bernard was when he first started. The guy we've seen is not the guy that you expect to see on the field, not for a number of reasons. So whether he is playing through something or not, who knows? A lot of guys are playing through something at this point in the season. It is Week 11.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of injuries from the Bills, as I'm sure you saw today's injury report as well. Just a very extensive list of guys, a lot of defensive guys. But now that we've kind of gotten some of those issues out of the way, let's kind of go to the offense. From Blue Sky user Go Bills 40, is Josh waiting too long for an open guy, or can he be making throws quicker and make his receivers make some tougher catches? Thad, what do you think?
The easy answer to this is yes, just across the board. And Carl Jones and I talked about this on the Let's Talk Ball edition of BKL Nightly on Tuesday. There are a lot of different things going wrong, but Josh is 100% a part of it, or at least he's, I think, altered his game a little bit, resulting from the struggles they've had. There were plays in that Dolphins game where Josh Allen could have let the ball go sooner, could have taken maybe a shorter, easier throw as opposed to trying to scramble and find something longer down the field. Don't get me wrong, the number one problem is the lack of winning with the receivers down the field. But Allen executing the offense and maybe taking more of what's been given to him, even if it's not a big chunk play, is something that both Allen and this offense in general could work on going forward.
Yeah, just like you said, Josh Allen seems to be an issue with this. This is a version of Josh Allen as well that I feel like we haven't seen in a while. And we'll see if he can correct that this weekend and as they get back in their home field and see if they can get it done against Tampa Bay. All right, that is going to conclude this week's segment of our mailbag. Thank you, Thad.